grated, loud and booming, even though he was only 10 feet from her. "How good to see you!" Elyce curtsied. "You know my nephew, Lord Rodrigo." Lord Rodrigo was the same age as Elyce and very familiar to her, as they had played together as children. He stepped out from behind King Claude and came forward, tripping slightly over his own feet. "Your Highness." Lord Rodrigo bowed and took her hand, kissing it and leaving a wet, cold spot on her knuckles. Having no siblings of her own, Elyce thought of Rodrigo more like an annoying brother than anything else. Why was he smirking one moment and looking sheepish the next? She knew him as a difficult playmate, always changing the rules of any game Elyce would play with him so that he would win. Once, Elyce had grown so irritated with him she hit him on the arm. He ran screaming to his servant, who scolded Elyce, saying, "For shame, using your higher position to bully poor Rodrigo." Elyce had retorted, "He's the bully, shame on him." The servant looked shocked, her mouth and eyes widening and her hand clutching at her throat. Such temper, such a lack of control from a princess! Full of self-righteous anger, Elyce, who must have been about 7 years old at the time, related the entire ordeal to her aunt, Winifred, the Duchess of Adderley, who had watched over her since Elyce's mother died. Aunt Winifred said solemnly, "A princess must maintain proper decorum at all times. Princesses never stoop to quarrelling, and they certainly do not strike a future count, even though he is beneath you in rank. It is not proper." It was the first instance of many in which her aunt would frustrate Elyce with her strong opinions about class and title, especially about what was proper and not proper for a princess to do, say, or think. And the first of many moments in which Elyce would imagine that being the daughter of a shepherd, cheesemaker, or woodworker would have been preferable to being a princess. Her aunt would have scolded her for that as well. Elyce did feel a bit of guilt at her feelings of resentment toward her aunt, who had died a year earlier of a fever, even though part of her never understood why it became unacceptable to tell the truth about someone's bad behaviour after they died. "Princess Elyce," King Claude was saying, "my nephew has my blessing, and your father's as well, to speak to you in private about a very important matter." Now King Claude was smirking, or the closest thing to it, with his strange smile that never expressed any warmth. Her stomach lurched. This could not be good, not good at all. Rodrigo was holding out his hand. Sweat beads appeared on his forehead and upper lip. She pretended not to see his proffered hand and waited to see if he would assert himself or let his uncle tell him what to do. There was a long, awkward silence. "We can leave the Great Hall," her father said, "or you can go to the solar up the stairs and to the right." "The solar will be more comfortable. Go on, then," King Claude boomed, fixing hard, dark eyes on them. Rodrigo lurched toward the stairs, then stopped short and turned to wait for Elyce. Should she run? No, that would not be the proper thing for a princess to do, nor would it resolve anything. But she had to think of something. She climbed the stairs, sensing Rodrigo just behind her. There could be nothing important for him to say to her except to ask her to marry him, which was only a formality, since her father and his uncle obviously had already arranged the marriage. She knew it was her duty to marry someone who would help her people, to make an alliance that would ensure her country's safety and prosperity. But she'd also imagined that she would love her husband, at least enough to kiss him and have children with him. But Rodrigo? How could she kiss him? The thought was abhorrent to her. He behaved like a spoiled child and had said lustful things about servant girls that made her wonder if all men were brutish animals preying on defenseless women. A woman was supposed to respect her husband. How could she respect Rodrigo? And a man was supposed